I think Pune University can play a leading role, and you would be surprised. My institute alone has 10 students for MA English who have opted for digital humanities. In 5 years' time, I'm sure there'll be at least 200 to 300 students within ST Pune University who will have some training in digital humanities. And after 5 years in humanities and social sciences, whatever job is offered at the national level in education sector, one of the qualifications will be awareness of digital humanities. Mark my words, and you will realize this in just 4 to 5 years. And therefore, the initiative taken by SPPU is very, very important one. And the teachers of Pune University need compliments for this. I think I have spoken a lot. You may ask a few questions, and whatever gaps I have left, by way of answering your questions, I'll try to plug those gaps. So thank you very much, and please raise your questions.
नहीं ना सर नहीं ना भाई
Thank you, sir. If anyone else has a questions, you can ask. This session is open.
I think I have spoken a lot. You may ask a few questions.
सर हमारा ये दिखा सर
आवाज येतोय?
Yes.
If anyone else has questions, you can ask. This session is open for questions and discussion. Feel free to ask your question. Those who want to ask questions should their questions is the chat box in a chat box or raise your hands. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Second session will begin immediately. If any participant is having question to Honorable Surat sir, you can type message in chat box either or by unmuting yourself you can ask.
I think one Dr. Archana Rohkle has not asked a question, but she has provoked something like a talk on role of language in artificial intelligence.
Okay.
You know, language is basic for any activity, any human activity anywhere in the world. And when we talk of technology, we cannot talk of technology sans language. Now there are natural languages and there are computational languages. And computational languages, you all know that they work in binaries 0, 1, and that is why they are called artificial languages. So artificial languages, it is assumed, cannot solve all the problems of humankind or cannot deal effectively with all the human problems. And therefore, a new branch has come up, and that is called artificial intelligence. Though the word artificial is primary here, it deals with human thinking. I'll tell you a very simple example. Once I went to Germany and stood at the railway station in Munich, and I saw a vending machine where there were some chocolates and cold drinks and everything displayed, and price tags were attached. And I saw something worth £1. And I had a £5 note with me. So I went near the vending machine and read the instructions. And there was one instruction that put the exact amount. So if it is £1 priced, then put £1 only. This happened something like 15 or 18 years back. And I didn't have £1. I had £5 note. So I dropped the idea of buying that cold drink. You would be surprised, with a gap of 10 to 12 years, I visited Germany again.
हाँ
And again,
मैं
every
वो
time
नहीं
I go to
कहूँगी
Germany, I normally visit Munich because I have some close friends there. So once again at the railway station of Munich, I visited the same vending machine.
I request to all participants, please mute your.
टेलीग्राम में पण तोच आहे
I request to all participants, please mute your mics. Thank you.
So I stood in front of the vending machine, and now you'd be surprised that that instruction vanished. The item that cost £1, I put my £10 note in the vending machine. I got the item and I got my £9 back. So see the difference in about 10 years time. 10 years back, I had to put the exact denomination, and 10 years later, put any note and the computer would read my mind and would give me my money back and my item worth £1. This is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence tries to read human mind and try to understand human need and respond to it in a manner that a human being would respond. And therefore, we perhaps are emerging into a scenario where artificial intelligence is going to play a major role. At Pune railway station, for example, we have vending machines now. That is going to work the same way. And therefore, Dr. Rohokale, your question is very valid. And I'm sure you will recognize the need of this monster called computer. And whenever we talk about technologically mediated research, and that is going to control your research and every activity in personal and social and academic and political and any life, any kind of life. So that's how I look at language and artificial intelligence.
Thank you, sir. My question is actually related with, do you think that artificial intelligence is going to create a kind of monopoly of its own uses in society? If you will be contribute in this question, it will be really helpful.
Monopoly is always bad, but unfortunately, monopoly is also inescapable. Monopoly is always bad. There's no doubt about it. Imagine Google is dominating everything today. Microsoft is dominating everything today. Reliance is dominating everything today. I'm sure Professor Kumar Saptarshi is terribly against this. And all of us are against this. But my question is, 50 years back when there was no Reliance, let us say 100 years back when there was no Google, no Reliance, no Microsoft, no modern monopolizing organizations. There was monopoly of saukars. There was monopoly of a different kind. Monopoly of village head. Monopoly of small kingdoms or kings. So in one or the other form, this monopoly exists, and perhaps this is in human nature that you emerge and you dominate others. This is very bad, but there can never be equality in the ideal sense of the word, or pure equality, like purity in nature. There can never be purity in nature. That doesn't mean that I'm in favor of monopoly. Okay, monopoly has its own hazardous impacts, but I would just say that monopoly is shifting. Monopoly is shifting, right? Earlier it was Tatas who dominated the networks. Today it is Reliance that is dominating the networks. Google has emerged all of a sudden and it is dominating the whole world. So it is shifting the nature, it is shifting the agents, it is shifting the organizations, but monopoly is there, unfortunately. And perhaps this will continue in one or the other form, change form, transformed form, and so on and so forth. I don't know if there is any permanent solution. I need to ask this question to Professor Praveen Saptarshi. if there is any permanent solution to this, because he is an expert in that field. There's a small question about elaborate on digital humanities. It will be new era by Dr. Manik Sonawane.
Recording in
And,
progress.
and he has also asked a question about literature of Northeast India. Very interesting question, Dr. Manik Sonawane. I must pay compliments to you, because very few people pay attention to Northeast Indian literature. Let me tell you, Dr. Manik Sonawane, for your information, you would be very happy to know that we have at my institute research students from all over India, including northeastern states. So when a northeastern student comes to my institute and says, I want to do research on Shakespeare or Wordsworth or Rajarao or Mulk Raj Anand, I tell him no, emphatic no. I ask him one question during the interview: isn't there any Sahitya Academy Award winner or Jnanpith Award winner from the north of India? When they mention names from Arunachal or Meghalaya or Mizoram, I emphatically tell them you should do research on them. Why are you just running after Shakespeare all the time? And precisely for this reason, we have 5 researchers in my institute who are doing research in northeastern literature. You would be shocked to know one of my researchers is doing research on Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, that comes under Himalayan studies. You know, Himalayan studies is divided into 2 parts: India side and beyond Himalayas. And in London, there is a special department of Himalayan studies, and they have come out with various books. And perhaps they know more about Himalayan studies from Indian side than any of us know. So I encourage that lady to collect material from that London Himalayan School of Studies, Himalayan Studies, and she is now doing research on Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, which is politically very dangerous zone. But I have given her certain instructions and laid down certain conditions. So this is a very, very valid question. I must thank Dr. Manik Sonawane for raising this issue. As far as digital humanities is concerned, this actually touches everything under the sky, including science, technology, social sciences, commerce, and everything. We have medical digital humanities. You know, if you look at the branches of digital humanities, it is ridiculous, of course, but then we have feminist digital humanities. We have lots of branches of this, because digital humanities is basically, broadly speaking, interaction of humanities with technology. But a word of caution is influence has to flow from humanities and not from technology to humanities. So core concern of digital humanities are the same as traditional humanities. So our core concerns are human nature, human experience, human response, and human culture and human condition. So all that is human, that is being studied by humanities for the last several thousand years. And the same is going to be studied in digital humanities. But earlier, this used to be studied in oral tradition, in Guru Shishya Parampara. Then it started being studied through textbook.
उठा तुम्ही तुम्ही एक मिनिट नाही नाही हा वेगळा आहे सर हा हा आता तिकडे ते लॉग इन करून द्या लॉग इन करू
Just log in आहे ना खरंच right just log in आहे ना just आहे तेच आपण just log in
specific cookies companies. And yet,
No. Just passam saja. Password काय sir? The last one. First
Ini kan itu saran dari komandan. Para terus selesai kemarin. Ini itu komandan deh. Ini kan komandan.
Sir. Pure in the business sampai habis. Kualitasnya. Hah? Kualitasnya.
Practice. काय करून पडते. लगेच काय नाही दुसरं काम सुरू केलं असेल तरी काय नाही टाका बेटा लागला असेल हे असं म्हणणार का बरं झालं सुरू नाही ते थोडं एक even they actually wants college department, they wants college department or तुम्हाला पाठवलं का? सर ते फॉलो साइन करू सर या सेट का तुम्ही फीडच्या वाईज तुम्ही ते बघा ते चेंज करा फीडच्या वाईज आता बरोबर सर काय झालं पासपोर्ट मेल चुकीचं आहे तुम्हाला अपडेट फॉर्म असेल सर नाही ब्राउझर किंवा लॅपटॉप आता ही 25 मिनिटची किती वाजता मीटिंग आहे आपली 2:30 शेड्यूल केली ती आता आहे का पण मला एक सांगा आपण चुकलाय का मीटिंग आहे का तुम्ही करू शकता
काय झालं सर ज्ञान यज्ञात अडथळा आल्यामुळे आलो ना वर मग आम्ही या कम्प्युटरवरून हे करायचंय काय ऍक्सेप्ट करायचं काय झालं झोप बाबा याच्यापेक्षा मोबाईल म्हटलं काय मेन बंद पडलं ना तरी त्यांचं चालू राहतं आहे का नाही
गूगल मीट गूगल मीट गूगल मीट गूगल मीट येईल करा मला शेअर रेकॉर्ड
होईल ना रेकॉर्ड आता सध्या युट्यूबला त्याच्यावरून नसतं फोन करून
एकच पण आहे काही सर आता करताय तुम्ही का मी करू हा?
सर्वाय केलं तर होतो ना कॅमेरा आहे सर
हो सर ट्रान्सलेशन झालं
एक नंबर आहे आणि हे पण नाही डेबिट पण नाही आणि तुमचं ऍसिडिटी जास्त आहे सर तुमचं काय वाढ व्हायचं असं
पैसे द्यावा पैसे द्यावा
इतर आपण 500 किंवा 1000 मग ते
हो सर
सर जुना टाइम लिमिट पण आहे जुना टाइम लिमिट आहे ना त्याच्यावर ते पण पाठवायला एवढंच बंद पडलं
म्हणून
आहे का आपल्याकडे जी सूट आहे ना आपल्या कॉलेजचं आहे ना
जी सूट आहे
जी सूटला लेक्चर घेतले ऑनलाईन जी सूट लोकांकडे असलं पाहिजे तसं पार्टिसिपेंट राहिलं पाहिजे सर्व जी सूट असं त्याशिवाय लेक्चर गेला आधी पासवर्ड त्याच नंतर जो डेटा आहे तो सर कसं आपल्या जी सूटला कारण आपल्या कॉलेजकडे आहे जी सूट ते 100 असेल त्या दिवशी कसं केलं जुनच केलं तुमचं बंद कसं करणार त्याच्यामुळेच करायला केलंय मग मी कंटॅक्ट करून त्याच्यावर खरं मी त्याच्यावर म्हणून करायला नाही सर हा तसं
गूगल मीटची गूगल मीटची टाका लॅपटॉप फास्ट आणि तुम्ही याला ही गूगल मीट इथं जॉईन करू आणि ऍडमिट केलं कसं
कुठल्या मेल गेले त्याची ओपन करते सर त्याशिवाय ऍडमिट होणार
काय केलं तुम्ही इथं?
नाही पण सध्या मग युट्यूबला बंद करायचं सर सध्या काय तसं बंदच करा सर.
आपली कॉन्फरन्स काहीच वेळामध्ये पुन्हा एकदा सुरू होते. काही तांत्रिक अडचणीमुळे व्यत्यय आला होता. आपले सगळे सहभागी इथे जॉईन झाले की आपण सुरू करूयात. Sorry for interruption. There was some technical problem. Sorry about that.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
We will wait for 2 to 3 minutes and then we will join.
मी पुन्हा एकदा दिलगिरी व्यक्त करते. काही तांत्रिक अडचणीमुळे आपल्याला मीटिंगमधून बाहेर पडावं लागलं होतं, परंतु आता सुरळीतपणे आपली मीटिंग सुरू राहील. सॉरी फॉर इंटरप्शन, देयर वॉज सम टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लेम, सॉरी अबाउट दॅट. आणि आपण लगेचच दुसऱ्या सेशनकडे वळणार आहोत. After this inaugural session, we will move on to second session. Namaskar. Once again, welcome all those present to the second session of this national conference. Now I request Dr. Dattray Gungate to introduce resource person of the second session, Honorable Dr. Praveen Saptarshi. Please, Dr. Dattray Gungate.
Good morning, all of you. Today, we organize national conference on research studies in science, social sciences, literature, commerce. For this conference, we invited the best academic respected Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir. He accepted our invitations and today he is with us. Welcome sir. Welcome very much. I will have a pleasure to introduce eminent speaker, respected Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir. Currently, sir is working as a visiting professor at University, USA, and chairman Pangea Geographical Association of India. He has 48 years teaching experience. He was research guides and 58 students did research under his guidance. He completed 29 research projects. He has published 154 research papers in various national and international journals. 107 international and 47 national journals. He worked at several academic bodies of various universities. Presently, sir works in expert members of UI studies in geography, so Pune University, Pune. External members of research and recognized committees, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Expert member of research and recognized committees, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. Expert members of Board of Studies, Earth Science, in Bharati Vidyapit, Demed University, Pune. Works expert members of research and recognizes committees. Sant Gadge Maharaj Bhavat Universities. Expert member of research and recognizes committee. Rashtrasanta Prabhuji Maharaj Nagpur Universities. And expert member of Board of Studies in Geography and expert member of Science Faculty in Maharaja Shivaji University, Vadodara in Gujarat. Expert members of Research and Recognizes Committee in Geography, Mumbai Universities. Professionally, some works as professor and head, Department of Environmental Science, Pune University, 3 years. Leaders and head, Departments of Geography, University Centers of PG, Teachings and Research, SP College, Pune. Program Officer, NSS, NCC, Ahmednagar College and SP College, 18 years. Professor and in charge of various departments, consultancy programs on industries. Co-curricular activities, organized research courses, refresher courses, workshops, seminars, etc. for both faculty. More than 300 participants. Some visited so many countries. The purpose of this is academic purpose, that is like UK, Australia, USA, Bolivia, Mexico, Germany, Norway, etc. His social works also notable. That is significant contributions in community development right from young age to till date. Qualities of leaderships and ability to rise the associations have been covered many times. Best teacher awarded University of Pune, Pune Municipal Corporations, Bharati Jain Sangatans. Once again, thank you very much, sir. Accepted our invitations. Now, I request to respected Dr. Praveen Saptarshi, sir, to share interacts with the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bangarde, for good words about me.
Thank you, sir.
Madam wants to tell something?
Yes.
It is her privilege to say that in the start. All right?
अशोक डॉक्टर अशोक थोरात सरांचे आभार मानायचे राहिले होते.
Okay.
तर thank you for your valuable guidance, sir. You have guided us through the many aspects and also told that there are many opportunities are available for the student of humanities. And sorry for interruption, there are some technical problems, sorry about that. I request to Honorable Dr. Praveen Saptarshi, sir, resource person of this session, to share and interact with participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for good words from Dr. Bangarde. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And again, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to listen. My friend, Dr. Ashok Thorat, he has really worked on the topics like digital humanity, and not only working, but he is instrumental in developing this all over the world with collaborative efforts. Really, it is really a great academician's work, and he has proved that the literature people can also embrace the social issues, political issues, and economic issues. And also, he, because literature is important even for to tackle the environmental issues. Literature, uh, as on today in India, is a guided literature, and in this scenario, his work is definitely conspicuous in line with the progress of humanity. And that's why I salute him. And uh, Madam has, I join with the Madam and the organizers to offer him a great, great thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
With these words, I will start my lecture, and I know that time is running, so I can reduce my lecture by 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Instead of 50 minutes, I will finish it in uh, 35 to 40 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, uh, the topic of this organization, of this conference, is recent studies in various subjects, all the subjects, almost all the subjects, which are taught in Parner Tehsil. I congratulate the Parner College, uh, which is situated at Tehsil place in rural areas, with you can say, the victims of digital divide, victims of educational divide, victims of economic divide between rural India and urban area. Uh, so, in spite of all these odds, they are pushing themselves forward for this kind of academic venture. And really, a great job is being done by the organizers, principal of this college, and his team. So they deserve great, great congratulations. And those who are from outside India, let me uh, tell about this college, that this college is run by the institution which is committed to rural education. Although the institute has good colleges at district places, but its trust areas are mainly the Tehsil places and even beyond that. And that's why this institute is doing very good job for rural education, especially for the women in rural areas. Because even at present, it is very difficult for parents to send their girl child to Pune or Mumbai or any hostel, staying in hostel, and so it is very difficult. And that's why their mindset is not that mature, and that's why it is good. It gives, this institution has given very good opportunity for the girls in this. So that's why their establishment of schools and colleges, they are having majority of girl students, and that is really a good social change, and they are doing this kind of work. And salute to the uh, the uh, the heads of the institutes at present and in the past also. So, ladies and gentlemen, the recent studies does not mean the studies in last 2 decades or 2 or 3 decades. Recent studies are emerged out of some landmark studies. Just like Ashok Thora's Digital Humanity is a landmark study, and it can be a recent one till 50s. So, means 2050s. This means that the many more decades ahead. And recent study, I mean that, which embraces humanity, which embraces the idea of any nation, for example, idea of India, it embraces the uh, the problems of downtrodden people. It embraces the how to regain the human concern on about the poor people. So this is the I consider that this is recent studies, and in this regard, I consider that a good piece of literature or study, the you can say that the studies based on his own experience is Hind Swaraj, written by Mahatma Gandhi, and later on, which is elaborated by many scholars. Even today, there are so many books on, lakhs of books are there in uh, almost all the languages in the world, and I think that this is the recent idea, modern idea, and that's this is modernity. And modernity does not mean I think that charkha is modern. It is not the traditional one. It is modern in the sense that it embraces the issues of poverty. It embraces mass production. Sorry, instead of mass production, it advocates the production by masses. This is a great idea. And similarly, Gunnar Myrdal, geographers have studied it. He has written a book on the poverty in Asia. So this is such kind of studies, and in that he has elaborated how the uh, the mineral resources as well as human resources are being siphoned from the poor countries to the rich countries. And this is the international status of trade, international status of the driving international driving force of economic growth and so on. And that's why there even Marxian study can also be considered as the base for the um, recent studies. Even because here you have also uh, given the subjects like social sciences, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's literature can also be useful to throw some light on the age-old issues like asprushyata or discrimination, or how to uh, gain uh, regain equity. Another thing, landmark study, I can, it is not by academicians, but it is the collective work of the freedom struggle, and it is articulatedly written in English by Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and that is the Constitution of India. It reflects the idea of India. It reflects the secularism. It reflects the how this religious diversity and the linguistic diversity can be can live happily under one nation. So this is a new idea of nation, which was opposed by Churchill, then Prime Minister of Britain. So these are something, the new ideas, modern ideas, and I think that the studies related to this can be considered as the recent studies. So what are the driving forces? What are the drivers of recent studies? So the contemporary issues can be the important driver, one of the important drivers for the study. Let me confess myself, and also the another friend of mine, like Dr. Thorat, and my young friend, Professor Dr. Bungarde, or his principal and his colleagues. All of us, including me and Dr. Thorat. So we have been educated from the rural areas, and mainly from the Jilla Parishad schools funded by government. funded by Jilla Parishad. So this kind of education that we got, and that's why we have reached to this level. So most of the teachers at senior colleges must have crossed the salary of 2 lakhs per month. And we should be thankful to our Jilla Parishad schools, and we should be thankful to the policies of the government, central government and the state governments of Maharashtra and all the state governments in India and the central government. And what was that policy? That policy was the policy was trying to establish, it was attempt to have the equity through leverage, by leveraging the education, primary education. And we got primary education free of cost. And many of us can reach to this level because we got the education free of cost. And at the same time, we, the academic community, is trying to support privatization. We send our children to the private schools. This should not be done. So don't give too much importance to the private schools. This is the English medium school. So even the maid servants are aspiring. Means the aspiration level is different, and that aspiration level is based on the greediness, and this greediness comes from capitalistic society. It is not at all a modern thing. Technology, if you are using good car, you are using good washing machine or air conditioner or having a good bungalow or good house, this doesn't mean that you are modern. You are modern means you should be modern human being, sensitive to the all happening around you. What happens to the agricultural workers? What is happening to the cultivators? What is happening to the why MSP is demanded? Why there is agitation by the farmers? So what are the lessons to be learned from the agitation of farmers? How this is crushed? Why democracy is not there in our country? Why democracy is diminished? It is reduced to a symbol, and symbolically we are a democratic country, but in reality we are run by the government, which is observing majoritism. It is the state of majoritism, and this is a real threat to democracy, which has given us education, which has empowered the persons like me and you, and this democracy is being threatened. And the workers from the scholars from the political science should work hard how to work hard on this issue and how to remove this majoritism. That is the major challenge in recent studies. Then another thing is that the electioneering has become more important than democracy, and that's why most of the agitations are crushed. Agitation by the farmers, agitation by the agitations like Shaheen Bagh, agitations like the empowerment of women, agitations like agitations for the MSP, agitation for the reservation of downtrodden class people. So all these are skillfully crushed, and by way of doing propaganda on other non-issues like the Muslims are terrorists or Muslims are the real threat to the development or the Christians are the threat to the development. So, and another thing is that we are forgetting the Ours is a federal state, and federal state means the federal culture, means giving due importance to the states, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Rajasthan, or Jharkhand, or Madhya Pradesh. This is this is not like that. So the states are being bulldozed by the old institutes like economic, so ED or CBI or NSAT. So this kind of things are there. Suppressive actions are there. Many people are have died in the jail, and they are being jailed for nothing, and uh, they are facing the um, the, the charges like sedition and so on. So, in this way, these are the factors of uh, decreasing the spirit of democracy, the diluting the spirit of democracy, and that's why the our aspiration is not social one. Our aspiration has been limited to the personal things, means the I want this, my family want this. The corruption is also the part of the game. So this is anti-national movement, killing democracy, crushing democracy, or the changing the aspirations of the people, means this is the cultural change which is thrust on us. We don't think about the problems of rural education. We really are not worried about the um, the girls who are traveling 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, crossing the rivers, crossing the hills, and reaching to the school. So we are not worried about that. Our sensitivity is diminished, and that's why this is also a threat to democracy, threat to equity, and threat to Constitution of India. So why this is coming? Why this is allowed? This is mainly because the world economy is in tune with all these suppressive actions. Because world economy is dominated by capitalist society and capitalism is not just the capitalism. It is predators capitalism. Predators means the killing the other section, means trying to making him inhuman, or trying to making that section, people in that particular section, poor section of the society, making them to live like animals, means their livelihood resources are being grabbed for profit making of corporates. Dr. Thorat has clearly said that he is against monopoly, but monopoly was there even 100 years, 200 years back. But that monopoly was limited to Tehsil, limited to village. Now, the monopoly, or crony capitalism is worldwide. If the big corporates are doing collaboration with other corporates in other nations, it is not Deshadroh. But if the labor organization in India is related to Canadian labor organization, it is called as the Deshadroh. This means that the globalization is there, but after globalization of capitalism, globalization of capital, globalization of resources is achieved, but not globalization of human beings. So nobody thinks in the globalized world, nobody thinks that why uh, Indian people are hungry, and why we are making the problem, why we are indulged in wars. So continuously in Cold War period, continuously there were some shattering belts and continuous war was played. I use the word played, means for no reason. Now the present situation of Ukraine and Russian conflict between Ukraine and Russia is has no valid reasons. Only thing is that it is just like saying that it is just like in the when in villages. Suppose I want to beat Gungarde, then I will say that Datta has done something bad to some woman. So this is known as Gagundi. So this is similar as Gagundi. What is the fault of Ukraine? What is the why Russia is so much of against Ukraine? Suppose Ukraine has some resources, let them enjoy, let them have their own foreign affairs, let them have their own foreign linkages. Why why Russia or America should dominate these things? This is mainly because this can be considered as the predators capitalism. म्हणजे भक्षकांचा भांडवलशाही, भक्षकांची भांडवलशाही. So you see that so economics, we should have the integrated studies on such situation. Integrated means the sociology expert, the expert from economics, expert from commerce should understand, try to understand the trade relations and the exploitative trade relations. What are the exploitative trade relations? So this can be means the issues related to democracy can be studied by political students of political science. The predators impact of predators economy can be studied by the economists, can be studied by sociologists, and in this way there are again some issues which are again man-made, like climate resilience, climate change, climate resilience, climate justice. So keeping such issues, such concepts in front of you, you can also select one tahsil like Parnet Tahsil or Karjat Tahsil or Ahmednagar or any urban area or any state like Maharashtra or Jharkhand or Konkan region. So any region, you select any study region and find out the solutions how to achieve the climate justice in that particular, how to make the climate resilient society. So who are the most impacted section of society by climate change or environmental issues, and what are the solutions? So actually I will give you one simple example that people always say, even at government level and many NGOs say, that safe drinking water is a basic livelihood resource. And that's why we work for the good water resource. And what is that good water resource? River is a water resource, drinking water resource. It was, and the groundwater was also drinking water resource in the drought-prone areas through ages, traditional resource. All these resources, all the areas have been polluted, and that's why there is a basic deprivation of basic natural resources like water, livelihood resource like water. And for that, what is the solution? Solution is to buy, the village panchayat should buy the RO system, which is costing 35 lakh rupees, which is manufactured by big corporates. means, and government is giving subsidy to this, but government is not ready. Government is not showing its wish, political wish, to penalize those who have polluted the rivers, penalize those industries, those big corporates to uh, pollute, who are responsible for polluting groundwater. So, Parner groundwater has been polluted. This is because of industrial effluents from the upper side, like Pune, Nasik, and that's why total basin and the groundwater in that particular area will be polluted. And that's why we don't have safe drinking water from any one well in Parner, any one well in my village. And that's why we have to purify it. And for purification, we have to pay for. So this is vicious circle. Means siphoning money from the lower people and getting the windfall profit to the big industries. So Gandhiji was against this culture. So can we carry out the studies according to the Gandhian principles, according to the principles of Ambedkar, according to the principles of Gunnar Myrdal, or according to the principles of environment conservation? And can we carry out such studies with integrated approach? And such studies can be more modern, more human, and they will be trying to embrace the issues of needy people. So I will just tell you one example, that one of the group from all, even the IT section, then economics, then all are working for developing a model which can use, which can develop, which can optimize the use of water resources, and that is without compromising profitability. So this model, if Dr. More has worked on Karmala Tahsil, so some other scholar has worked on, I think that this is the recent studies, or even the study by Gungarde can also be included in recent studies. He has struck to the issues of the water requirement in the rural areas by agricultural sector, and this irrigation water is limited in Ahmednagar district, which is drought prone areas. The groundwater is also limited. So in this situation, how water resource can be stored in the form of the farm ponds, and he has worked its economics also, how farm ponds are advantageous. And he has also warned in his study that why what to avoid, what are the things that should be avoided while preparing the farm ponds. Means he has suggested that the groundwater should not be mined, M-I-N-E-D, mining of groundwater means if groundwater is below 100 feet level deep, then it is just like a mining groundwater. So it should not be mined and stored for the summer irrigation. But he has also suggested that how farm ponds are utilized, how it can be utilized for the crops which require minimum water, and that's why he has suggested tree cropping instead of the crops which require the more water. So all such things are important. Such studies can be considered. This may be the study from geography, but it is useful for the sociology students, it is useful for the students of economics, the students of political science also, because a lot of things are involved related to the policy making. The politics is nothing but the policy making. It is the science of uh, policy making, and that's why what are the policies which show their impact on the poor people and the rich people and the middle class people. And in this way, such policies are not related to just economics. It is related to some social structure of the society. So now you can, in sociology, it is also considered as some class as the reference class. Why I'm coming from poor family, suppose I'm coming from poor family, in spite of my poor status, I want that the I refer to the upper class people who are how they are doing the marriage festival, marriage ceremony. So I will try to spend a lot of money in marriages just to improve my status in the village, which is so instead of doing expenditure on marriages, instead of doing expenditure on giving some extravagant expenditures, why not do some expenditure on the Balwadi or the small schools who are deprived of uh, basic amenities like blackboard or even chalk sticks, even the papers. So why not such schools can be? Then automatically means your status will be improved. So this is the way which can show, academicians can show to the society. And that's why we should carry out study. We should not just tell the people, but we should try to learn it from our own experience, from our field work. For example, I will give one example that we have developed one model showing that the optimal use of water resources and improving profitability. And each village, we selected some randomly selected villages. In randomly selected villages, we conducted a survey and found that our questionnaire got 100% response. And that's why we were very happy as the academicians that, oh, our study has been accepted by local people and this is a great work. But so after PhDs, we visited those villages next year and found that nobody has accepted our model. Why it is so? So then we conducted another survey and found out why people are reluctant to use the method of agriculture which is beneficial to them, which is improving profit to them, and which is saving water. The water saving is a national asset, and the the increase in profitability is the personal gain for that farmers. So this is win-win situation. And why people are not uh, following our model? Then slowly people came together and told us that this is also a dialogue method in surveys, that oh, this should be resolved in Gram Sabha. Otherwise, I will not plant sugarcane and the others will plant. So others will make more money and uh, they can lazily be do some political things or some dadagiri in the village, because the cultivation of sugarcane is easy compared to cultivation of vegetables or the cotton or the oil seeds. So this is all these things should be taken into account. So then we change our model. and we have introduced the Gram Sabha. Now see that the study which is started with a scientific and technological and we using the computer technique, everything to save water. But now it ended with some social inputs. And that's why the multidisciplinary approach is important. So now another thing is that I would like to mention here, that is you should be in position to understand the cost structure of any activity. Then and then only you can be in position to understand the spread of money in the society. Means what is the proportion of cost which is given to the labor. So what is the proportion of cost of labor in any product? And then you will find that the in cotton textile industry in 1850, so that at that time the technology was not there, and that's why the labor cost was the 50% of the production cost. And that's why many cotton textile industries migrated from that the European countries to Mumbai, Calcutta, Nagpur. So in this way, our industrialization started in 1850. So this means that the labor cost is important. Then if labor cost is reduced by intervention of technology, then what will happen? Too much of technology deprives the share of profit earned by lower lower class people, means the again bottom of pyramid. So this means that this is something which is supporting disparity, and that's why once disparity is there, then democracy is again diminished. And that's why there is no voice against the government, against the policies of the World Bank, against, I will tell you one example, that the World Bank has funded the big project which can provide drinking water facility to in Bolivia. So Bolivia, I had visited Bolivia, that Professor Gungarde has told you. So we studied that, and we have found that this is a failed model. World Bank has given money to Bolivia, and Bolivia had paid all that money to money given by World Bank to the Bechtel Corporation, international corporation. So this Bechtel company, American-based company, has constructed a big dam, and they have distributed the water, drinking water, to Bolivian people. But the cost of water was made very, very high, and it was beyond the purchasing power of 50% of population in Bolivia. This was the issue, and that's why water resource which was belonging to all the people has been given to only 50% of rich people, and that's why there was unrest. And this kind of unrest is good for for increasing dominance of the rich countries. And that's why rich countries and World Bank always try to give the always develop the policies which can siphon resources from those poor countries to the rich countries. Bechtel became rich and Bolivian people became poorer and poorer because they have to spend more money on basic livelihood resource like drinking water. So these are the things. This is something you can see that the how what is the cost of production. If labor cost is more, then naturally the money circulation is more, and that's why any developmental issue, you can say that the 4-lane road is constructed now just in this Ahmednagar Pune road. How many people use that road? And which section of society is using that road? We are using cars, and that's why we are happy that road is chakachak, right? The roads are very good. But is that road is useful to develop the public transport, which or affordable public transport? No, not at all. The even 6-lane road between Mumbai and Pune, it acts as a flyover bridge for the people from Mawar Tehsil, people from Mulshi Tehsil, and it is useful only for the urban centers like Pune, Lonavala, and Panvel. So this means that the all developmental projects are again trying to develop the disparity. We should be in position. The recent studies, all the scholars, the young scholars should be able to find out this kind of conspiracy. And it is our duty. In the beginning, I have said that we should have commitment to poor people because we got the free primary education. And that's why it is our duty to unsurface. So this kind of things should be surfaced, or this kind of things should be explained to the people. I don't think that there should be a rocket science which can be considered as the recent studies. I think that the such studies which are relevant to society, which are relevant to our own nation, are the studies which can be. So we should be trying to find out even some areas like gender equity. Gender equity, the studies. So you can find that what is the nature of exploitative relationship between husband and wife, exploitative relationship between the male and female in your village. You should try to find out the nature of exploitative relationship between men and women in your village, and this can be a very good paper which can have place in international journals. Even if you write in Marathi, your own language, it is a great contribution to the knowledge because it is based on, as Professor Thorath has given the criteria, it is based on your own experience. It is based on your own observations and your own thinking. So, such kind of studies uh, can be considered as the recent studies. Another point that I would like to make, when I visited the farmers' education in Delhi, I stayed there for long period, and uh, in that I'm not talking because in many my lectures, in the various lectures, I have explained the agitation and nature of people there from the farming sector. So you know all these things. Now I would like to give you one point, and that is at that time I have surveyed the cycle rickshaw walas in uh, Delhi, and it was some minister from Maharashtra was telling that we are providing them battery operated machines to be attached to their cycle, bicycle, the and that will reduce the agony of human beings. and that's why we want to give them, but they are reluctant. Their response is negative. So this was told to the newspapers or in the press conference by that minister in such a way that he has got great love and affection for those people who are driving bicycles in Delhi. But this was not correct. The the correct story is that this he wanted to. He was agent of some manufacturer who is manufacturing battery operated rickshaws, and that was costing 80,000 rupees, and he wanted to buy his idea by poor people who cannot pay this 80,000 rupees at a time, and that's why he has declared that we will give them soft loan. Loan means just 6%, 7% in interest rate. But now you see that the bicycle rickshaw wala who is earning less than 10,000 rupees per month, so how he can repay the loan? For repaying loan, he has to be hungry for at least 10 days, and he cannot repay that loan. So he works for, later on, he works for not himself. Rickshaw is owned by him, his father or his family, but he is now doing service for making the profit to the bankers and those manufacturers. So this is a, you can say that the conspiracy of making the owners, if Professor Ghungarde is owning one land, slowly he should be converted into labor. Just like the in urban growth, urban sprawl in Pune, many lands were grabbed by builders, and now the landowners are standing in front of my society. If you just, I am from Mulshi and my land was sold, and now I don't have anything but to be a watchman. So he accepted that particular service, less than 10,000 rupees per month for 12 hours of service. So this is the conspiracy of making the owners as the converting them into the laborers. So this conspiracy, if you try to open this conspiracy and tell the people and make them, conscientization is also important work of academicians. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear young scholars, I would appeal to you to find out to carry out such studies which can give the conclusive remarks regarding this kind of exploitation. Then and then only you can be a real community. You have done the real community development work. Community conscientization is essential for community development. And with these words, I wish you all a great success in your academics in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your valuable guidance.
Hopefully, I am in time.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. Immediately after this guidance, I request Mrs. Josna Maske to propose vote of thanks. Please, Mrs. Josna Maske.
Good afternoon, all of you. I thank Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir and Ashok Thorat sir for delivering a valuable speech, which is very informative for teachers, students, and society. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
May I leave now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
After this second session, we will move on the third session. Once again, welcome all those present to third session of this national conference. Now I request Mr. Virendra Dhanashetty to introduce resource person of this third session, Honorable Dr. Umesh Bagadi. Mr. Virendra Dhanashetty, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Umesh Bagade belongs to Dr. Ambedkar Marathwada University. He is a professor having 14 years postgraduate teaching. Bagade sir is having keen interest in local history, Subaltern history. His contribution is well known in India towards Mahatma Phule and Satyashodak Samaj. Sir is having research students with the 2 MPhil and 3 PhD registered students. Sir delivered numerous talks during national, international conferences, visited many countries having awards and honors. Due to his busy schedule today, very urgent meeting, I request Honorable Dr. Umesh Bagade sir to guide in either Hindi, Marathi or English in recent studies of social sciences.
Thanks very much. Can you listen me? Are you listening me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are recent and old kind of studies which comes as recent. Majority of you might not have studied particularly the annal school which prevailed in around 1920s to 1960s. It was an excellent kind of school of history where all social sciences came together to write history. You might be knowing about the sociologist, great sociologist Duchin. So the annal school was influenced by Duchin, and there was a psychologist, mentality history. There was economic historian, strong current historian. But then Raudel, then Everbray, then Maurice Bloch and many more has contributed to a grand kind of history writing which began in 1920. This is not known to you. Majority of you might not be known to the kind of approach and kind of method and kind of history carried out by Sorry for disturbance. So there was a kind of annal school which in certain sense has contributed to social sciences in major way, and various kinds of disciplines of social sciences and even sciences came together to write a total history or global history. Particularly after annal school, there was another kind of history writing where you find several kinds of social sciences. People came together to write history, and that was neo-Marxist school. Particularly, you might be knowing about P.P. Thompson, you might be knowing about Fusbaum and many more, has contributed to the knowledge by picking out different themes from the history, society, economy, and many more kind of things. Particularly in 1982 onwards, in India, there was interesting kind of, you can say, development has taken place, and where we find there was subaltern historiography, where we find the mathematician, anthropologist, the historian, political scientist, psychologist, sociologist, all kinds of, you can say, disciplines came together to write history of subaltern. There was a certain kind of, you can say, shift which you will find from 1982 onwards. Then you will find that there was a certain kind of new upsurge of looking at knowledge, and particularly the Foucault, Derrida, this post-modernist or post-structuralist shift has taken place in social sciences. And many more kind of researches are imbued with the theoretical premises of post-modernity, and that is the kind of now staying kind of trend where now, particularly in Western world, Europe, America, Australia, or New Zealand, we'll find people are taking the postmodernist premises theoretical tools to do social sciences and to do history. There is a certain kind of shift. This shift has to be understood in terms of knowledge. The paradigm shift has taken place basically because there is a new notion of knowledge has been understood by the great thinkers post-modernist school. You might be knowing about Michel Foucault, and Michel Foucault, in certain sense, in criticizing this kind of knowledge, which was prevalent at that time. Few kind of his works are important. For example, he has written a book called Order of Things. Those who belong to sciences should understand that it is very excellent kind of effort done by Foucault to unravel the making of scientific knowledge. What is his kind of exercise is to unfold, unwrap the body of science, the body of knowledge that is called as science. And here we will find that what exactly he put forth is that his premise, particularly his argument, is based on a very kind of, you can say, position that knowledge and power are linked. They are intertwined. Means any kind of power is jaded with supported with knowledge, and any knowledge, but you can say exercise of power. So this is a certain kind of link between power and knowledge, which is being specified by Foucault. And you will find several kinds of researches then onwards are picking Foucauldian paradigm of power and knowledge. Presently, but all you might have read the work done by Nicholas, the Caste of Mind, where caste is interpreted, caste is analyzed, caste is archived, caste is in certain sense explored. Two, the specs of Foucault, and Foucault is very integral to the Nicholas Dirk's work, which is called as Caste of Mind. You might be knowing about another kind of work which is written by California scholar called Mara. I don't know if the work is Caste Question. It is also a certain kind of place in postmodern notion of power or this Foucauldian kind of notion of power. Take any kinds of example. Gyan Prakash has written on the history of health and science, particularly in India. That work also is influenced by Foucauldian paradigm. Take example of Hardiman, and Hardiman has done an enormous amount of sociology in India. This work also influenced by the category of people. You might be knowing about Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak, once great kind of, you can say, literary, you can say, scholar who has translated the work of Derrida that is called as dermatology, and she also, in such instance, inquired on this kind of, you can say, post-structuralist, post-modernist kind of definition of knowledge. So, what is coming up as knowledge? What is constantly being pointed to the new kind of, you can say, arena of social sciences is this post-modernist kind of conception and this post-modernist kind of stance of social sciences. This is very quite complex kind of, you can say, theoretical positioning which they have undergone, but we would be taking them uh, as the post-modernist way. We will be taking up this issue of knowledge in today's kind of lecture. Broadly, we will be locating the conceptions of knowledge and brought by the postmodernists. See, you will find that in India there is a tradition of conceiving knowledge, and prior to Buddha, there was paths of knowledge. Buddha has identified 3 paths of knowledge. Buddha and his servants were trying to unfold what is knowledge. And he said that there are 3 paths of knowledge, 3 ways you can seek knowledge. One way of seeking knowledge is a way of allegiance to Vedas, that is Shabda Brahman. This particular kind of mode is used by many, and this is still practiced. The Judaism, there is Bible, particularly Old Testament. In Christianity, there is Bible. Islam, there is Quran. In so-called Hindu, we have so many kind of texts, for example, Vedas, Gita, and for Mahanbhavas, there is Viracharita, or Vasova, or Shiva, Vasavachana. There are several kinds of texts which prevail in India, and the knowledge is being seen as the words Shabad, particularly the Shabad of the saints, Shabad from Guru, is being seen as knowledge. This is a certain kind of positioning of knowledge where knowledge is sought through the texts, language is sought through the words, and word is doubted as seeking knowledge. That is one path of deriving knowledge. The second part of deriving knowledge is logic, and you will find this logic is universal. It's in all parts of the world. This logic, the best example of logic is mathematics. And you'll find that mathematics is the best ways of understanding logic. This logic particularly is, in that sense, is accepted as you can seek knowledge. Path of logic gives us body of knowledge. If you are following logic, then you will seek knowledge. This is the second path of knowledge. Third path of knowledge is experience. And you will find that experience is also a kind of source of knowledge. And you all know, particularly the earlier speaker was talking about anecdotes and was talking about experiences. Was talking about Bolivia and the experience of Bolivia as the ground on which he was, in certain sense, publishing knowledge. So this is a certain kind of frame of experience through which you are seeking knowledge. Now you can take these three kinds of trajectory and ask what is your use? Buddha says the first path of seeking knowledge is irrelevant. The only word or allegiance to word cannot lead to path of knowledge. So there are some kind of sentences in Buddha, there are sentences in Quran, there are sentences in any kind of, you can say, text, religious text, sacred texts. They are not the grounding of knowledge. That is what Buddha says. The word cannot lead to knowledge. Our allegiance to word cannot lead to knowledge. That is what Buddha says. Secondly, he accepts logic as the most important kind of path to seek knowledge. And third, that is experience. And here, Buddha, in certain sense, gives us a prerequisite. He sets up a certain kind of question to the issue of experience and knowledge. He says all people are conditioned by their social conditions. They are conditioned by the past experience. They are conditioned by culture. They are conditioned by ideas. They are conditioned by society, so and so forth. So if a particular individual is conditioned by this society, then he cannot seek knowledge because he's conditioned. Very important kind of is there that if you are conditioned, you cannot seek knowledge. And therefore, in social sciences, we all are avowedly arguing for the condition of objectivity. So you should not be conditioned by your own ideas, you should not be conditioned by your caste, gender, religion, and so on and so forth. You should be objective to furnish knowledge. That is what exactly you can understand of experience as knowledge. If you have your seek knowledge to experience, then you should turn yourself to the objective. And only if you are objective, then you can use knowledge through the experiences. This is a certain kind of sense through which you can understand Buddha. If at all you are taking this is what exactly is being spoken by Gautam Buddha, then you can come to a certain kind of understanding of great thinkers like Play or Arabic or Gandhi or whom you want to engage with. And there you will interestingly find, if you are taking Gandhi, the earlier scholar has cited Gandhi. Gandhi, in certain sense, has legitimized the path of allegiance to God. So Gandhi, in his own sense, was inferring knowledge through Buddha. He has given interpretation of Gita and, in certain sense, philosophic based on Buddha. You might knowing about the great kind of from Maharashtra, Tilak, Balagangadhar Tilak. He also has Gita as the sacred text and great tradition philosophy as the karmic path of so in that sense, you will find that the conception of all these thinkers, in certain sense, cannot be accepted as science. And you all know that particularly in enlightenment, after enlightenment, Western enlightenment, as Eastern Indian enlightenment, you understand knowledge as knowledge based on two major groundings. And that is one, that is knowledge should be falsified, should be visible. And secondly, you have to understand that Therefore, there are two paths, pratyaksha and anubhava. In Indian kind of philosophical genre, Indian philosophical language, one word pratyaksha and the other word anuma are accepted as grounding for scientific knowledge. This is what exactly is universally accepted, and therefore you have to understand that there is a great debate which has taken place particularly about logic and experience, and I won't go into that particular kind of debate, which in certain sense is very present kind of discussions. However, we have to know that there was a kind of, we can say, analysis of knowledge which is there as scientific knowledge and which in certain sense has dictated path of allegiance to it. शब्द प्रामाण्याचा जो मार्ग आहे तो मार्ग हा ज्ञानामध्ये वैज्ञानिक ज्ञानामध्ये नाकारला गेलेला आहे आणि म्हणून if you at all you are doing researches in social sciences, either would be taking a very concrete kind of exercise of survey. What is survey? Pahani, pratyaksha. Understood? The pratyaksha is very important. Data is what exactly you are processing the pratyaksha. So there are several ways of understanding, and there are several ways to access the pratyaksha. So we won't go into that, but that is what exactly you have to understand. That one part of seeking knowledge is logic, and the other part of seeking knowledge is pratyaksha, observation. So all these kinds of things has to be put together. And now, what exactly the analysis which postmodernists are talking about, and what exactly the shift they have brought. Foucault, in certain sense, is saying that knowledge is not, in that sense, free from subjectivity. As the science was arguing that all sciences are objective, and there was a certain kind of rigorous argument that each and every aspect of science is nothing but objective ascertaining of knowledge. म्हणजे विज्ञानामध्ये एक अत्यंत महत्त्वाचा युक्तिवाद केला गेला. काय युक्तिवाद केला गेला की जे सर्व ज्ञान आहे ते ज्ञान हे वस्तुनिष्ठ आहे. लक्षात घ्या, हे अत्यंत महत्त्वाचं सूत्र आहे की ज्ञान हे वस्तुनिष्ठ आहे, वैश्विक आहे आणि सर्व ठिकाणी प्रत्याला येतं. 100 सेंटीग्रेडला पाणी उकळतं, म्हणजे हे सर्व ठिकाणी 100 सेंटीग्रेडला उकळतं. गुरुत्वाकर्षण, वरतून एखादी गोष्ट टाकली तर ती खाली येणार, गुरुत्वाकर्षण. तर यू विल फाइंड दॅट दिस पर्टिक्युलर काइंड ऑफ principle falsifiable, and that is what the crux of knowledge. What exactly who was arguing is that the truth which is seen particularly by these scholars is there, which can be ascertained, which can be sought by people. What exactly Foucault is saying? Foucault काय म्हणतोय, त्याचं काय म्हणणं आहे? Foucaultचं म्हणणं असं आहे की कुठलंही सत्य हे साधारणतः त्यांनी शब्द वापरलाय डिस्कोर्स. मीन्स any truth is there foregrounded in discourse. म्हणजे कोणत्या तरी भाषेच्या विज्ञानामध्ये, भाषेच्या चक्रव्यूहात हा डिस्कोर्स शब्द इंटरेस्टिंग आहे. What is discourse? Discourse is to fetch or to interpret or to make sentences. म्हणजे तुम्ही विधानं कशी करता, तुम्ही निष्कर्ष कसे काढता, तुम्ही एका अर्थाने ज्ञान पुरुष करता, तुम्ही अर्थ कसे लावता, याची पद्धती, याचं सूत्र म्हणजे एका अर्थाने डिस्कोर्स. I would cite an example that what is discourse, for example. Easy example to cite. For example, earthquake. You know that earthquake is the fact of certain kind of catastrophe. reality. But how, in particularly the religious world, religious body of knowledge, religious kind of setup of knowledge, the religious kind of discourse, and you'll find that religious discourse, the earthquake might be interpreted as the curse of God. So this interpretation that the earthquake is curse of God is based on certain kind of mistakes, certain kind of body of language, certain kind of, you can say, making sentences. And we find that therefore we would have to know that there was a certain kind of logic that divine being is controlling the world. And that particular kind of premises, this thing, is integral to produce a certain sentence that the earthquake is nothing but curse of God. म्हणजे भूकंप हा ईश्वराची अवकृपा आहे, ईश्वराचा शाप आहे. हे विधान करण्यासाठी तुम्ही एक विशिष्ट प्रकारचा तर्कव्यूह वापरता आणि या तर्कव्यूहामध्ये तुम्ही विधान करता. हा तर्कव्यूह हा एखादा निष्कर्ष काढायची प्रणाली म्हणजे डिस्कोर्स आहे असं समजतं. दुसरा डिस्कोर्स अर्थातच असा आहे की जिथं आपण म्हणतो की विज्ञान ही सर्व गोष्टी ज्या आहेत त्या विज्ञानाच्या वर आधारलेल्या आहेत आणि त्यामुळं वैज्ञानाचे घटक जे आहेत त्या घटकांच्या अनुषंगाने म्हणजे ज्या विचार प्लेट्स आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये असलेल्या घर्षणावर, त्याच्यामध्ये असलेल्या एका सरकण्यावर भूकंप होतात. अशा प्रकारे त्याचं एक जे निष्कर्ष काढला जातो त्याचा एका अर्थानं त्याचे तर्कव्यूह भिन्न आहेत. म्हणजे धार्मिक डिस्कोर्स वेगळा आहे आणि वैज्ञानिक डिस्कोर्स वेगळा आहे. या डिस्कोर्समध्ये ते नियम स्वीकारूनच निष्कर्ष काढले जातात. म्हणजे जर तुम्ही धार्मिक डिस्कोर्समध्ये शिरला तर तुम्ही धार्मिक डिस्कोर्सच्या चौकटीतच निष्कर्ष काढणार आणि तुम्ही जर वैज्ञानिक डिस्कोर्समध्ये शिरलात तर वैज्ञानिक चौकटीतच निष्कर्ष काढणार. दोघांचेही तर्कव्यूह, दोघांचे प्रणाली भिन्न भिन्न आहे. यासाठी मी जो शब्द वापरला तो आहे डिस्कोर्स. And exactly you have to understand that Foucault is arguing that beyond discourse there is no. म्हणजे सर्वसाधारणरित्या चुकून किंवा विरोधानं दोना एका अर्थानंतरच्या अभ्यासकांनी जे मांडलेले आहेत त्या मुद्द्यांमध्ये प्रामुख्याने सूत्र येतं की डिस्कोर्सच्या पलीकडे सत्य. मात्र ही जी पारंपरिक विज्ञानाची चौकट आहे ती विज्ञानाची चौकट आपण सगळे स्वीकारतो, त्याला जास्तीत जास्त प्रमाण आहे. ते असं म्हणतं की सत्य आहे ते मी शोधून काढणार आहे. सत्य हे कोणत्याही प्रकारे भाषेशिवाय, व्यक्तीशिवाय ते तुम्हाला प्राप्त करता येतं. कोणत्याही काळातल्या माणसानं अध्ययन करून ते सत्य तुम्हाला प्राप्त करता येतं. ही जी सत्यासंबंधातली कल्पना होती ती कल्पना डेरिडार हे जे नवे अभ्यासक आहेत त्याला पोस्टमॉर्टम म्हणतात ते नाही. आणि असं म्हणतात की डिस्कोर्सच्या शिवाय, चर्चा विषयाच्या किंवा विमर्श विषयाच्या शिवाय सत्य असू शकत नाही. आणि त्यामुळे सत्य सत्यासाठी आणि ते एक विशिष्ट प्रकारचं तर्कव्यूह आणि तर्कव्यूहाचं मर्यादा या संदर्भातल्या चर्चा. आपल्याला खोलात जायचं नाही. वी आर नॉट एक्सपर्ट इन पोस्टमॉर्टम, सो वी वोंट बी गोइंग टू but what exactly in certain sense was a new way of understanding the world and society. विश्व जे आहे ते विश्व समजून घेण्याबद्दलचा नवा दृष्टिकोन हा या पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट विचारवंतांनी पुराण केला आहे. आणि तो समजून घेण्यासाठी मेजॉरिटी ऑफ यू आर फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र, सो आय विल साइट द एक्झाम्पल ऑफ महात्मा and we will negotiate with this new kind of philosophical trade. महात्मा फुले यांनी प्रामुख्यानं 3 प्रकारचे ज्ञान असल्याचं सांगितलं. There are 3 kinds of knowledge. One knowledge is knowledge itself. तुमच्यापैकी बहुतेकांना मी काय म्हणतोय ते आता कदाचित समजते. म्हणजे आतापर्यंत मी काय म्हणतो तेही समजलं कसलं असतं तर broadly when you are taking your own idea of self तुमच्यापैकी बहुतेकांना एक ओळख. आता उदाहरण सांगायचं म्हटलं तर नाव आय एम अ टीचर अँड I'm introduced as teacher. I'm teaching Dr. Babasaheb. So my idea is teacher, and you are listener. So your idea is student. तुम्ही विद्यार्थ्याच्या भूमिकेत आहे की शिक्षकाच्या. आता मला सांगा की have ever I myself has discovered the idea of teacher, or you yourself has discovered the idea of student. Both these ideas, both this construct of self is accepted by us. आपण एक शिक्षक आणि विद्यार्थ्याची कल्पना, आत्मकल्पना घेतलेली आहे. आता ही जी शिक्षक आणि विद्यार्थ्याची आत्मकल्पना आहे, ही आत्मकल्पना आपण खरोखरच स्वतः प्राप्त केली आहे का? आणि तुमच्या लक्षात असेल, यू विल नो दॅट नो, you and me has not in such a sense invented, searched, discovered the idea of teacher and student. The idea of teacher and student is given to us by body of knowledge. So many kind of, we can say, ideas of selves which we are acquiring, which we are performing. For example, you are father, you are mother, you are sister, you are in several kind of gender positions. You can be elder brother, you can be younger brother, and if you are younger brother, you have to behave as the age difference tells you. तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे की आपले लिंगभावाचे असणाऱ्या भूमिका, पिता माता भगिनी, पिता पत्नी पती, पुत्र पिता, असे सगळे ज्या काही आत्मसंकल्पना आहेत, त्या आत्मसंकल्पना आपण सर्वजण घेतो आणि त्या परफॉर्म करतो, त्या पूर्ण करून दाखवतो. आता समजण्याचा प्रयत्न करा की ही आत्मकल्पना तुम्ही मी स्वतः घडवलेली नाही. तसंच जातीच्या आत्मकल्पना, कोणी ब्राह्मण आहे, कोणी ब्राह्मणेतर आहे, दलित आहे, या सगळ्या ज्या आत्मकल्पना आहेत, इट माइट बी रिलीजियस, माइट बी कास्ट, या आत्मकल्पना तुम्ही स्वतः घडवल्यात का? हे तुम्ही स्वतः प्राप्त केल्यात का? इट्स अ बॉडी ऑफ नॉलेज. महात्मा फुले सांगतात की ही जी प्रामुख्यानं ब्राह्मणिझम आहे, त्या ब्राह्मणिझम या आत्मकल्पनांचं ज्ञान दिलं आहे. आणि एकदा का तुम्ही आत्मकल्पना घेतली, त्या पद्धतीनं तुम्हाला जगण्याचा हेतू प्राप्त. Purposes of life, your purposes of life are decided, rested on the idea of self. And these ideas are critically or uncritically imbibed by you. या सर्व प्रकारच्या कल्पना, कधी चिकित्सक पद्धतीनं, कधी अचिकित्सक पद्धतीनं तुम्ही अंगीकारलेल्या आहेत आणि तुम्ही परफॉर्म करता. आणि या अर्थानं तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की नातेसंबंध, कुणी पती आहे, कुणी पत्नी आहे, तर पतीनं कसं वागायचं, पत्नीनं कसं वागायचं, याच्यामध्ये सत्ता संबंध आहे. आणि हाच मुद्दा महात्मा फुले सांगतात. तुम्हाला यू आर बाय बॉडी ऑफ नॉलेज enslaved, subjugated to order. If I accept the position of child to teacher, then I am subordinate. माझ्या सर्व हिताचा निर्णय माझे शिक्षक घेऊ शकतात, या मी माझ्या हिता स्वीकार. म्हणजे दिस व्हेरी आयडिया ऑफ सेल्फ इन सर्टन सेन्स subjugate people, give some people equal dominance. So there is a structure of domination and subordination entrenched through the ideas of self. म्हणजे स्वकल्पना, पुन्हा स्वकल्पनेचं जे जंजाळ आहे, जे ज्ञानाचं जंजाळ आहे, त्या ज्ञानाच्या जंजाळातून सत्ता संकल्पना, सत्तेचा संबंध हा विकसित होतो, विस्तारित होतो. ही बाब तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी लक्षात घेतली. जी बाब फुको सांगतो, तीच बाब तुम्हाला काही प्रमाणात फुले सांगताना दिसतात. आता फुलेंच्या आणि फुकोच्या म्हणण्यातला भेद आहे. फुले was in certain sense avowedly arguing in favor of enlightenment, and this man who was rejecting enlightenment. त्याच्यात तपशिलात मी जाणार नाही. I won't go to the details of it, but you should understand that Fule was a visionary thinker who, at that time, understood that the slavery, the subjugation, the certain kind of servility, certain kind of docility was structured through the ideas itself. And this body of ideas itself is largely produced by Brahmanism. म्हणजे हे ज्ञानाचा हा जगडव्याळ जो आवाका आहे, जंजाळ आहे, ते ब्राह्मणी धर्मानं घडलेलं आहे. आणि म्हणून महात्मा फुले सांगतात की तुम्ही तुमचा खरा इतिहास शोधला. If at all women start searching their own past, they could understand that they are not in certain sense unequal, they are equal to men, and then they will seek the objective of emancipation from the patriarchy. जर तुम्ही जाती म्हणून, लिंगभाव म्हणून, स्त्रिया म्हणून, शेतकरी म्हणून, कामगार म्हणून खरा इतिहास शोधायला गेला तर तुम्ही इतिहास नीट समजून घ्याल आणि त्यातून स्वतःची मुक्ती साधू शकाल. You have to understand this particular aspect of the knowledge and certain kind of sense power. ज्ञान आणि सत्तेचा हा संबंध जसा फुको तुम्हाला सांगतोय तसा तुम्हाला महात्मा फुले सांगत होते. आणि या प्रकारचे अध्ययन आता मोठ्या प्रमाणात होत आहेत. म्हणजे आज राष्ट्रवादाचा अभ्यास फुकोच्या पॅराडाईम मध्ये, आता जातीचा अभ्यास फुकोच्या पॅराडाईम मध्ये, आता धार्मिक अहंतेचा अभ्यास फुकोच्या पॅराडाईम मध्ये. किंवा तुम्हाला वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे पॅराडाईम जे आहेत ते पॅराडाईम्स फुकोच्या चौकटीत येत आहेत. मी तुम्हाला सांगतो की या प्रकारचा अध्ययन, या प्रकारचा अभ्यास यापूर्वी महात्मा फुल्यांनी केलेला होता. In that sense, you have to understand that Fule was associated with this idea, the idea of knowledge and power. आता ही आयडिया जी आहे, ही आयडिया का महत्वाची आहे हे ती समजून. Basically, you should understand that how the whole process of change has taken place. आणि त्या ठिकाणी सगळ्यात महत्वाची जी गोष्ट आहे ती आयडिया ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस आहे. तुम्ही मी जो बोध करतो आहोत स्वतःचा आणि विश्वाचा, तो बोध करण्याची जी जाणीव आहे ती जाणीव कोणत्या घटकांनी बनते हा एक महत्वाचा प्रश्न आहे. आणि हा जो प्रश्न तुम्हाला नीट सोडवता आला, हाऊ कॉन्शियसनेस कॉन्स्टिट्यूट. And this particular question is approached by all social sciences. What in certain sense constitutes consciousness? And you will find that subaltern studies has taken this particular kind of consideration of doing history of subaltern consciousness. This is for a very specific kind of recent training, which you all should somehow approach to as a method, as a concept, as a way of doing science or way of doing social science. मला मी विनंती करेन, मी सगळ्यांनी विचार करा की नव्या या कल्पना ज्या आहेत त्या नव्या कल्पना ह्या पहिल्यांदा सबाल्टर्न स्तरीत आपल्या ज्ञान गटात आणायचं. सबाल्टर्न स्तरीतचं उदाहरण मी यासाठी देतो की इथं मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये सर्व प्रकारच्या विद्याशाखा एकत्र, ऑल डिसिप्लिन came together to do history. And they were not doing only history, they were doing economics, they were doing sociology, they were doing psychology, they are doing geography, they are doing so many kinds of ways of doing social sciences. In that sense, what exactly the key point which was put up by subaltern studies was this idea of consciousness. आता ही जी जाणीवेची परिभाषा आहे, या जाणीवेच्या परिभाषेची जी काही आकलन आहे, या आकलनामध्ये तुम्हाला सर्वसाधारणरित्या मार्क्सवाद जो आहे, तो मार्क्सवाद हा भौतिकतेला materialist kind of, you can say, interpretation of history, materialist interpretation of world, materialist interpretation of philosophy. हे जे भौतिकतावादी दृष्टिकोन आहे मार्क्सवादाचा, त्यांनी साधारणतः उत्पादनाची साधन, उत्पादनाच्या पद्धत, उत्पादनाच्या शक्ती, उत्पादनाचे संबंध यांचा विचार करण्यात आणि जाणीवेचं एक्सप्लेनेशन. अर्थातच हे जे काही एक्सप्लेनेशन मार्क्सिस्ट in certain sense has offered a certain kind of explanation, materialist explanation. Well, you might be knowing about Hegel. Hegel in certain sense has given a kind of interpretation, explanation as ideological, idealist interpretation. एक ज्याला आदर्शवादी म्हणतात अशा प्रकारचा विश्लेषण, जाणीवेचे विश्लेषण हे हेगेलनं दिलं. And according to Hegel, the struggle is between the dialectical struggle of reason. म्हणजे ज्या विशेष करून असणाऱ्या master slave, not slave or master slave relationship, and he in certain sense has explained the dichotomy or dialectics of master slave, and in certain sense he has explained this whole kind of unfolding of consciousness, unfolding of mind consciousness. ज्यानं त्याला शब्द वापरलाय, जिस एक विवेकाच्या चौकटीमध्ये सतत विरोध विकासवादाच्या चौकटीत उभारी असलेली जगताची चौकटी आहे ते हेगेल मांडतो. Now you have to understand that particularly there was Gramsci, and Gramsci was a Marxist historian or Marxist thinker who in certain sense has given a very interesting kind of idea of hegemony. त्यांनी एक अत्यंत महत्वाची प्रभुत्व ही संकल्पना पाहिली. ही प्रभुत्व संकल्पना काय आहे की तुम्ही आणि मी आपल्या स्वतःचं भान जे देतो, our consciousness situated in social and economic relationship where our consciousness is awake. आपल्याला जो जाणीव आपली आहे, जाणीव कुठून येते आपल्याला? जाणीव एका व्यवस्थित येते, आणि ही व्यवस्था जी आहे या व्यवस्थेत एक सगळ्यात महत्वाचा मुद्दा जो ग्रामचीनं पुराण लागतात तो होता हेजेमनीचा. What is hegemony? Hegemony is a way of domination achieved through forcefully persuasion. So साधारणरित्या you have to understand that there are two modes of domination. One mode of domination is domination through violence, domination through coercion, domination through fear, domination through threat. एक प्रभाव, एक प्रभुत्व किंवा एक विशिष्ट प्रकारचं वर्चस्व निष्पन्न करण्यासाठी जेव्हा व्हायलन्सचा उपयोग केला जातो तेव्हा ती जी सत्ता संबंध असतो तो वर्चस्वाचा सत्ता संबंध असतो. तेव्हा जाणीव ही वर्चस्वाच्या सत्ता संबंध. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, इफ एट ऑल आय एम गोइंग टू युनिव्हर्सिटी, आय एम अ प्रोफेसर, आय एम अ हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट, सो in that sense, Vice Chancellor is superior to me, and Vice Chancellor has coercive power to instruct me. I have to obey Vice Chancellor. But all I'm not doing Vice Chancellor, there is kind of teachers against me. I lose my job. So this is the coercive element of relationship between me and Vice Chancellor. In that sense, there is a coercive element, and this coercive element, in certain sense, establishes relationship of domination. What is it? I am accepting my Vice Chancellor without the element of violence and by the element of persuasion or inducement. Then this is the relationship of hegemony. This is exactly the way of understanding the notion called hegemony. या प्रभुत्वाची जी संकल्पना आहे, त्या प्रभुत्वाची संकल्पनेची जी व्याख्या ग्रामची केली त्याच्याबद्दल सांगतो. समजा असं तरी घरातील लहान लेकराला घाबरवता, बघ तिकडं कोणीतरी राक्षस आहे, बघ तिकडं तो माणूस आहे, आणि नंतर तुम्ही असं म्हणता येस, तू जर माझं ऐकलंस तर तू शहाणा आहेस, तुला मोठा होशील, चालला शहाणा माणूस होईल, तुला चॉकलेट घेईल. तर हे एक इंड्युसमेंट आहे, हे एक प्रकारचं अनुनय आहे. आणि अनुनय आणि परसुएशन या चौकटीमध्ये जर तुम्ही स्वतःची सत्ता प्रस्थापित तंत्र प्रभुत्वाची सत्ता असते. In India, particularly caste system has enormously used culture, language, art, and all man to subdue the toiling masses like the Shudra, and as its success achieved hegemony, and that is hegemony which is being practiced. So, if at all you have to unfold the consciousness, particularly consciousness of other, then you should pick up new kinds of, you can say, themes, concepts, methods to do kind of sociology, psychology, economics, that's it. And this would be an interesting kind of way of doing history, and particularly now we find that history of consciousness is a new kind of field of study. Then the power knowledge is new field of study. The new kinds of themes of history are coming up. For example, power knowledge has in that sense changed the whole paradigm of understanding things. Take example of Foucault, who has written the first book, particularly Order of Things, then he had written on the civilization police, he has written on civilization madness, he has written on archaeology of knowledge. Each and every thing, include field, is taken by him to study the, the social sciences. It is a large gambit of work which is coming up in social sciences, and there are several important publications are offered by various thinkers and scholars. I urge you all to do some kind of fresh studies and fresh kinds of enhancement of knowledge, and invite these new concepts, methods, and and do a valuable and I thank organizers for giving me opportunity to speak. I have written, so I have
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for our guidance. After this session, after this guidance, I request Mr. Abasab Ganda to propose vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Mr. Abasab Ganda.
Good afternoon, all of you. May I heartily thanks Honorable Speaker Dr. Umesh Bagade sir, our college principal Honorable R.K. Ahir sir, our college vice principal Honorable B.R. Hubey sir, and all these organizing committee. This seminar we are very heartful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. After this third session, we will move on to the fourth session of this conference. Once again, welcome all those present to the fourth session of this national conference. Now I request Dr. Bhushan Bhalirao to introduce the source person of this fourth session, Honorable Dr. Pankaj Patel. Dr. Bhushan Bhalirao.
It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce the eminent guest for this online workshop. The fourth session of this workshop, we are fortunate enough to have the eminent personality from the field of commerce and economics, Dr. Pankaj Dayanand Pandagre sir. He is an assistant professor from Dr. T.K. Tope Arts and Commerce College, Parade, Mumbai. He has completed his NET set in the year 2006. He has completed his PhD in the year 2022. The canvas of Dr. Pandagre sir in the area of academic activities and research activities is very big. So let me point out in a very short span of time the few of that activities. He has participated and presented in almost 22 international and national conferences, and he has presented and participated 22 times. Dr. Pandagale sir is acting as an eminent visiting faculty at various colleges. Let me name few of them. Sri Chinai College of Commerce and Economics, Andheri East, Mumbai. Guru Nanak Khalsa College, Matunga, Mumbai. Vidyalankar School of Information Technology. Ramananda Arya TAV College, Bhandup, Mumbai. SIES College, Sion, Mumbai. Maharshi Dayananda College, Parel, Mumbai. And Jai Hind College, Churchgate, Mumbai. So a person having vast experience in the field of commerce and accountancy, we have today with us to discuss on the recent trends in commerce and accountancy in today's perspective. So may I request Dr. Pankaj Dayananda Pandagale sir, please. We are eager to listen to you, sir. We are eager to hear you. Please, sir. Thank you. Dr. Pandagale sir.
Good afternoon, one and all. First of all, I want to share my PPTs.
Sir, please mute your mic.
Just a minute, Pandagale sir. We are arranging for the. We are trying to follow your request, sir. Just a minute.
आवाज येतोय का? Please mute your mics.
Siley, mute your mic, please.
Sir. आता स्क्रीन शेअर करा ना सर मला नाही काय करायचं त्यांनी शेअर करायचं आहे स्क्रीन त्यांनी काय स्क्रीन शेअर करा ना आता कळलं येस आता याच्यात टाका
नाही दिसत आहे का?
Due to technical problem, we are running a little bit late, sir. Just within span of 1 or 2 minutes, we are going to start our session. Sorry for the inconvenience, please.
सर त्यांच्या स्क्रीनवर आहे ना स्क्रीन शेअरचं ऑप्शन आहे प्रेझेंट नाव म्हणून असं बाण येत आहे हाताच्या बाजूला आलं तर सांगा काय तो जो हँड आहे ना रेज हँड
त्यांचं काय डिस्क्रिप्शन होतं ना
तिथे बघा स्पीकर ऑन ऑप्शन आहे त्याच्यानंतर कॅमेरा ऑन आहे सीसी नावाचं आहे हां त्याच्या शेजारी हां प्रेझेंट नाव ते करायचं प्रेझेंट नाव येस ऑप्शन्स नाही याच्यामध्ये शेअर करा
Am I audible? Am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, very good afternoon, one and all. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ranganath Ahir, Director and the Principal of the New Arts and Commerce Science College, and I would like to thanks organizing committee for inviting me for national conference as a speaker. And I just want to start my session. Right now I am going to upload this PPT, and this particular session 4 presentation. Friends, how many are commerce background students? Yes, how many students are commerce background? Put chat box I. Okay, friends, am I audible? Again, I am repeating, am I audible or not? आवाज येतो का सगळ्यांना माझा? कोणीतरी yes or no बोला.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, today is a National Missing Children Day. आजचा दिवस नॅशनल मिसिंग चिल्ड्रन डे आहे. जे काही लोक हरवले त्याबद्दल आहे. Today is 25th May 2022, and हा day is dedicated to the encouraging the parents, their guardians, caregiver, and children with the well-being of the children. Now, today's topic I would like to cover is recent trend in commerce or recent studies in commerce. Now, nowadays, commerce is one of the important stream. Last two speakers, they discussed about the social sciences, literatures, and now I am speaking about the commerce. So let us discuss in my point of view whatever recent trends is there, recent studies there, which will benefit for your research purpose, which will benefit for the career purpose. So I am talking about the career purpose, I am talking about the investment purpose, and I am talking about the research purpose also. Okay. Now, friends, whenever we will talk about our Indian economy, the Indian economy, it is one of the fastest growing economy. We will be the economic power, top 3 economic power. We are there this for the next 10 to 15 years. And in our South Asia, we are the 7th largest country. We have a maximum number of population, 2nd largest populous country, and around 1.38 billion people living in our country. We have a democracy, we have a rich culture, heritage, and we have a number of languages, traditions, and this particular gross domestic product is there in front of you, around 2.66 trillions US dollar is there in 2020. Now, if you see that the foreign direct investments in around April 2015 to January 2021, it is around 5.42. Now, whenever we will talk about the inflation rate nowadays is mountable, it is increased day by day, number of food grains prices increases. If you see that the retail inflation at 8 years high of 7.79% in April 2022. This is the latest update is there. The state-wise inflation is there. In the state of Maharashtra, 8.8 is there. Telangana and the West Bengal and the Haryana, it is around more than 9%. It is a highest inflation in our country. We are suffering the inflation problem. Now, friends, India's gross domestic product, if you see that it is a 232.15 trillions, and
we need employment. We have to create the 90 million employment in this particular coming years. We will talk about the Department of the Economic Affairs. The foreign exchange reserves we have around 634.28 billion in US dollar. So we have a good opportunity to invest in the various sectors. There are a number of sectors are there in our country, and sectors, these particular sectors represent our commerce. Now commerce is our backbone of the every challenges. Without challenges, commerce cannot run. Challenges, we can say that it is our opportunities. Challenges are the opportunities, and such challenges we will discuss by way of study of the various sectors, and we will think about the which one is a better sector for research purpose, for career purpose, and we will think about the investment purpose and business purpose. Those students who are interested to do the business, those students who are interested to do the jobs, what kinds of opportunities are there in the various sectors nowadays, and those who are interested in study in research, that also we are going to discuss in this particular small lecture. My PPT is visible. PPT दिसते का?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If it is any problem, you can directly contact me. You can interact me. Now we have a very good population, around the 1.38 million population is there, and literacy rate. See the literacy rate in our country. It is around 77.7%. It means 77.7% they have an ability to read and write the words, languages. They can easily write and read. Is a literacy population, but we require the skilled persons. We require knowledgeable persons. We have a languages, around 16 official languages. Population is there. Those who are less than 60 years, they are belong to young population. Those who are above 60, they are the senior citizens. And young population are skilled populations. Now we require the skilled persons, we require the knowledgeable persons, and such kinds of knowledgeable persons, they can use their knowledge and they can earn their money by various countries. Because what happened in the European countries, around 80% population more than 60 years old. We have a very good chance to migrate ourselves and do the job in a foreign countries because of the requirement of the human power. And India is a demographic dividend is there. Why we call it as a demographic dividend? Because we have the human power. Now, whenever we will talk about the nowadays, we suffer the COVID-19. This is a particular pandemic, and this particular pandemic, we are reducing the number of deaths. We are reducing the various kinds of peoples who suffer the pandemic. And now, vaccine. This particular vaccine provide around the 1.656 billion doses vaccinated to the people in the month of January 2022. And nowadays we have a population and we have a very good economy. And this 2020, 2021 and 2022, these 3 years, very crucial years in our country. Because what happened in 2020, we suffer the lockdown problem, we suffer the pandemic problem, and we suffer the various losses of our relatives, losses of our subordinates. This problem suffered in 2 years. Therefore, we can say that it is a year of lag because vaccine was not invented in the 2020. That time, this particular pandemic suffered throughout the world. Even the India has suffered. Then year of factory 2021. Why we called as a year of factory in 2021? Because we invented the various kinds of doses vaccines, and we provided the vaccines to the in our country. Not only in our country, we exported the vaccines to the other nations also. And in 2022 is a year of delivery. Now let us discuss about recent trends. And you know that all pandemic related restrictions to be lifted in Maharashtra from April 2022, and we don't want to wear the mask. Mask is not mandatory. Now, whenever we will talk about the sectors, we will discuss the agriculture. The agriculture and allied industries. India has the second largest arable land resources are there in our world, and we are producing the various kinds of agriculture products. We have spices, pulses, mills, and we are exporting various kinds of goods. We are exporting wheat, exporting non-basmati rice, soya mills, raw cotton exporting, and these are the export oriented production is there from agricultures. Government has banned wheat export because of the control of the wheat. And today's news, I have seen the news in the morning. I have seen the news in the morning. Even the government has restricted and the government has banned sugar export also because of the control of the product. And this particular recent trend is there that you have to study. Now there are number of corporations are there. Department of the Agriculture Corporation, National Dairy Development Board, National Horticulture Board, National Oil Seeds Vegetables Oil Development Board, and Indian Council of the Agriculture Research. Those who are interested to do the study in the agriculture and allied industry, they see these kinds of boards and these kinds of institutions are available, and they new innovative techniques of the how to run the agriculture activities, how to increase the productions, and such kinds of programs are available. Even the government also take the various kinds of schemes. Various kinds of schemes are available for the agriculture laborers and the allied industries. Now, whenever we will talk about the wheat ban and why this particular ban is there, because of the we have to control our production. And one more industry suffer because of the COVID, the tourism and hospitality industry. Indian tourism and hospitality industry, it is one of the significant industry. We have a with rich culture, historical heritage, and because of the COVID, we suffer the around the foreign exchanges, 7% exchanges we suffer because of the COVID. And in 2020, Indian tourism sectors counted around the 39 million jobs in the tourism industry and 8% total employment in the country. That you should keep in mind. Here, tourism industry is a vast industry in our country, and you should focus on the tourism and hospitality industry. Tourism industry, hospitality industry, they contribute around the 249 billion US dollar in 2029 we are expecting. Nowadays we are in 122 billion US dollar is a contribution of the travels and tourism to the GDP. Now whenever we will talk about the healthcare industry is very important, and this industry is known as the medical industry, health economy. Healthcare industry, it is a prime industry, and we suffer various kinds of things because of the COVID pandemic, and we know about the significance because we required the infrastructure in healthcare. hospitals required, we required nurses, midwives, then various kinds of diagnosis centers. We required the CT scan. We required MRI test, pathology lab, and every rural area, village area, we required such kinds of healthcare industry. The healthcare industry, it is one of the important industry. Those who are interested to do the business and research, they focus on the healthcare. They invested in the healthcare. They established the construct the big hospitals, provide the infrastructures in our rural area, and therefore healthcare industry, it is a prime industry. You have to focus on the healthcare industry also for production purpose, for economic purpose, for goods and services purpose, to treat the patients, to rehabilitation's purpose. This kind of industry is very important. These are the certain data is there regarding the healthcare in the COVID-19 vaccinations. You see that? Now, these are big news. Over 800 essential medicines, including the paracetamols, to get the expensive from April. Around 10.5% price increases. Is a one type of inflation which is suffered by the healthcare industry, and you have to do, if you are the businessman, if you are the researcher, you have to do the research. And medicines, there are number of type of medicines are there: allopathy, homeopathy, ayurveda, Unani. These are the naturopathies, their yoga treatments are there. There's such kinds of various kinds of treatment facilities are there, and how we will run our these kinds of medical treatments in our country, in our nation, in our area, in our villages, that you have to talk about. These are recent trend is there, because pandemic situation will occur anytime. Any kind of pandemic occurred. Now monkeypox is one of the disease occurred in African countries, and such monkeypox disease we should alert for ourselves. We have to protect ourselves, so we have to increase the infrastructures. We have to develop the various kinds of tests, pathology lab. We have to develop the hospitals, and for that purpose we require commerce. Commerce play important role in the healthcare system also. Now, after healthcare, if you have the insurance for your own life, medical insurance is there. So it is the protection of your life. Protection in terms of finance. And in our country, around 57 insurance companies, 24 life insurance companies, non-life insurance companies are 34. And these kinds of insurance companies business run very well in last 2 years because of the COVID. Many people's aware about the medical treatment, and they aware about they focus on the medical insurance also. So many students, those who are interested to do the business, those who are interested to do the job, they can focus on the insurance. And those who are want to do the we can say research, they can also focus on insurance industry. And one more part is a healthcare insurance claim after maturity or after the death of the patient or the injury. That time, or how their parents, their relatives collect the of things are here. LIC has invested in along the valuable companies. This particular background is their LIC also introduced the IPO, and their listed IPO's value was 872. So you should focus on the IPO industry also. And LIC, these are one of the public company they entered in the IPO sector also. Now, e-commerce industry. E-commerce industry is a transformed business, and in India, and their business is around the third largest business in the world after China and US. Online shopping we are doing. We are doing the online grocery also. Many people, they are purchasing online. They are using the various kinds of apps, and festival seasons, the number of companies provide the discounts, and therefore e-commerce industry is one of the prime industry, and they are in around billions of rupees are earned in this particular industry. So here, e-commerce industry, there are four ways transactions are there. B2B transaction, it is business to business. B2C, business to customers, customer to customer. C to C, then C to B, the customer to business. Such kinds of transactions are held in e-commerce, and online stores like Amazon, Flipkart, Shopee, Mantra. These are the shops are available. Shops means online apps are available. You can easily do the online shopping, online purchasing, and this particular industry reach up around $27 trillion in global retail. Then banking sectors. The banking sector is the prime most sectors in every villages, every districts. Banks are there. Banking sectors, 12 public banks, 22 private banks, 46 foreign banks, 56 regional rural banks are there. Cooperative banks now 1485 banks, and 96,000 rural cooperative banks are there. There are number of ATM centers are there. Nowadays, if you see that FMGC industries, it is the fourth largest industry, fastest moving consumer goods industry, and they are providing household products, personal care products, and this fastest moving consumer goods industry, they are focused on the rural areas also. Then, whenever we will talk about the fastest moving consumer industry, so here Johnson and Johnson, Himalaya, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Lakme, these are the established players are there, and nowadays D2C focus is a startup such as Mama Earth. Many people are using, many girls are using Mama Earth products, you know that, and these kinds of products now you have to study. These products are considered as a commerce based products because these products are available nowadays in your home. Now here I am comparing the Zomato and the Swaggy. Many peoples, many students, they are calling to the Zomato and Swaggy, and they are taking the food, and this food industry is very well developed, and Swaggy and Zomato have their revenue, they generated revenue in a US dollar. See this? Then retail industry play very important role because 10% country is gross domestic product and around 8% employment is there. It is the fifth largest industry is there, and India has a 73rd rank, and they are providing the various kinds of ranks, and fifth largest industry we can say that. If you see the palm oil, I am comparing the Ruchi Lee and the Adani's palm oil because oil prices are increases day by day. We are using the various kinds of oil. You have to focus on study of the oil. Why oil's prices increases? Why we are suffering this kinds of inflation in oil industry that you should focus. Now, science and research and development industry. India has a third rank in investing the technology. India has a strong focus on the science and technology. India is a top 5 nation in the field of space explosion. And this particular, but in university point of view, India has a 1019 rank, and uh, research and development is very important. And if you see that the India's global innovative index rank, it is around 46 is there. So you should focus on the scientific based research and development industry, how we will develop this industry. The commerce play important role, businessmen play important role for development of the science and research industry, because every business organization, they have a research and development lab. They are doing the research, and they are providing the various kinds of technology because of the research and development. Now you know that the our Serum Institute, they produce the vaccine, the COVID vaccines, because of the research and development. You should focus on this particular research and development. Financial services industry, this is one of the industry in that various things are involved. It involves the commercial bank, insurance companies, non-banking financial companies, cooperatives, pension funds, mutual funds, and small financial entities. These are the all these things are there. You should focus on the mutual fund, because FD in if you are invested in the FD, the rate of interest is very less comparatively mutual fund. You have to focus on the mutual fund. My request to the all students, start SIP right now. Invest every month 100 rupees as a SIP. You will get around crores of rupees in near future. Investment in consumption stock. There are number of stocks are there. You should invest. You have to study on internet. Internet you are using. Many people are using internet. Internet is a part of your life. Everyone has a mobile phone. You are using internet, Wi-Fi facility, Airtel, Reliance. This particular company you should study. Fast food. Many people are eating the fast foods. They are eating the burger, pizza, Burger King, European foods, footwears you are using, medicines, automobile industry, FNGC, banking, shopping mall. These are the consumption based stock you should study. You have to invest. You should study this particular companies, and you have to talk. You have to think about the employment also. Now, top companies. If you see the IT companies, Indian IT company, Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, SCL, Wipro, these are the top IT companies. Now, top IT companies in the world is there. But if you set Indian companies also, third rank, TCS is there. So you should focus on the IT companies also, because IT company, they are doing the various kinds of technological activities. They are doing the various kinds of businesses in our country. Many IT companies, foreign IT companies invested in our country. So this particular IT companies is a brand value is very high. You see this. Now global market. Now I request and I inform the students, you should focus on the investment. You have to invest in study. You have to invest in shares. You have to think about what kinds of markets are there in our country. Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. These are the stock exchanges are there where we can invest. Listed shares are there. We can invest our shares, and for that purpose, even the global market is there. Japan Nikkei is there. Australian market, Hong Kong market. It is open in around the 6:45 a.m. and our market is open around 9 o'clock. That you should keep in mind. You have to study the market, because market is one of the place where we can achieve our dreams. we can invest, we can do the business, even we can do the study also. So my request to the all researcher, do the study of the market, not only Indian but also world market. Even Hong Kong market is a better study. Even the this UK market and USA Nasdaq study you have to do. Even the India has a 10 Indian companies, the monopoly companies are there. And this monopoly company, they have a 100% monopoly is there that you should study. Because this monopoly company, the IRCTC, HAL, Nestle, their product Coal India, Hindustan Zinc Limited, ITC, Oil Product Company, these are the all companies you should study, and you have to focus on employment purpose, job purpose, we can say that research purpose, you should study these monopoly companies. Then service industry is one of the dominant industry, and we are providing the various kinds of services. For example, trade, hotel, restaurant, transport, storage, communication, financing, insurance, real estate, and these are the services are there. Now, IRCTC, this particular railway, they are generating their money by using catering services, ticket services, tourism, rail need, and state tirth. These are there. Automobile industry is one of the biggest industry in the world. We produces 2.65 million vehicles in 2021 and 13 million vehicles produces in April to October 2021. It is one of the we can say dominant industry. Two-wheeler segment also dominated. Most of the middle class peoples and the young people, even the college going peoples, they are interested to buy two-wheelers, and they are demanding their parents, I want to buy the two-wheelers. And such two-wheelers study, you should study. Nowadays in rural area also many people have their this particular two-wheelers vehicles. The power industry, we are the third largest producers and second largest consumer electricity, and we are suffering the shortage of the powers, and power is required for residential purpose, commercial purpose, and there are three things are there: power generation, power transmission, and power distribution. And these things are available in our country, but generation, we require the raw material like coal, and we shortage of the coal is the biggest problem in our country, and we are suffering the power losses problem is there in our various part of our rural areas. So I request our students, you should focus on this particular study. Electrical vehicles is one of the new model come in our market. Electrical vehicles, there are number of companies involved for electrical vehicles. I'm living in Mumbai, and we have a electrical vehicle charging center, just like a petrol centers are available. Same way, electrical charging centers also available, and these are the companies is involved for electrical vehicles. This is a Royal Enfield electrical bike. If you want to buy, you can buy, and they can give the proper way of the speed. Now mineral available, number of mineral available states are there, and these minerals are very important for development of our economy and nation. That you should study coal, petroleum, iron, diamond, marble, copper. These are the mineral. Gold also available. Aluminium also available. Then most of the car in India, who sell the maximum cars, if you study this particular car, companies, automobile company around Maruti sale 46.8% compared to other companies. Then aviation industry. Aviation industry is one of the important industry. They suffer the losses in COVID pandemic, and it is the third largest air passenger industry in our country. Now see that aviation market, if you see the companies, there are number of companies are involved that you have to study. In the research area, you should study the aviation industry. Indigo, Go, SpiceJet, Air India. Now Air India acquired by the Tata's Air India is there, that you should study. Now top most profitable startup in India, startup word you heard, you know about the new person and new individual, those who are interested to do the business in our country. Around most of the peoples, most of the human being and young peoples are entered in startup. Government also introduced the startup scheme in our various sectors, and these are the top companies. They run the startup business and they have the crores of rupees they generated. See that you should study the startup. Joha, these are the companies are that you should study. Top 5 players in the credit card. In many people, so State Bank of India and the SDFC, these are the banks. Then Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, they are providing the credit cards. You see that they are holding of the credit cards and the percentage of the credit cards that you should study. Then we have to study about the fuel prices in major city. Now central government and the state government always they are quarrel about the petroleum and diesel prices and the crude oils, and these kinds of study you have to do. And Delhi, even the Mumbai, Chennai, the petrol prices rises, sometimes they reduces. Government play a very important role, and this particular industry you should focus, and these are one of the important area for our study purpose. Now, one of the important area for commerce students, fraud. That fraud and certain scams, because frauds and scam is a part of commerce. And if you see that the Amway enforceable director, Ms. ED, attracts the assets worth rupees 757 crores of the Amway India. So you should study the frauds. You should study the research on frauds, scams. One more is there, rupees 1315 crore fraud, that you should study. You have to study the income tax department says Hero Moto made 1000 crore fake expenses. You should study these particular things. The black money, income tax department said found the 224 crores black money at Maharashtra, that you should study. It is one of the main area of our study also, because fraud, black money, corruption occurred in our day by day life. Then merger. Merger means two companies come together and start a new business. It is an amalgamation. It is a combination. We study. We know that the Tata mega merge with Tata Coffee and Tata Consumer Product. You should study this. Why Tata has merged with the Tata Consumer Product? Why this particular happened? What kinds of role is there? What about the shares prices? That you should study. Then again PVR, next, these are the these players, and these two players, this cinema industry also merge. You should study the merging. Then UPI. Nowadays we are using the Paytm, GPay, PhonePay, Team app. These are the Google Pay. These are the things you are using for paying the certain amount in purchasing day-to-day life. Now you should study these things, what kinds of role of this particular company, and you should study the consumer psychology regarding the Paytm, GPay and PhonePay. Nowadays, cardless cash, it will be happen. Cardless cash withdraw to be made available at all banks, ATM via UPI pin. You can QR code you have to show and you can get the money, we can withdraw the money. Now Parliament has passed one of the bill, that is a new crypto tax policy on 24th March 2022. Cryptocurrency, and if you many people are invested in the cryptocurrency, and if you earn the gain or profit, you should pay the 30% of the tax. If you lose, no need to consider that there is no setup and no tax benefit, and these are the rules are there. And cryptocurrency is one of the area of the investment. For many people are investing, and now it is disclosed by the government. You can invest, you can earn the money, but you should pay the taxes. Virat Kohli is a brand. He's a brand, and he has earned around how many millions, that you should study the brand peoples. Even the Hema Das is a sprint runner, and she's a brand of the Adidas shoes company, that you should study brand and the brand ambassador. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is a brand ambassador of the Gujarat Tourism Company. You should study the brand and their brand values. This is one of the important area for research purpose. We are suffering the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and still Russia-Ukraine crisis are going, the war is going on, and we don't know what will happen, whether Russia win the war or not. That these things are happen nowadays. European countries also suffer, and we have a very good chance to buy some products from the Russia also. Russia has exporting various kinds of goods, and we are purchasing the various kinds of goods from Russia. See that Russia exporting number of products: gold, oil, gas, wheat, aluminum, coal, copper, silver. These are the things are there, and you should study the international export, international business, and it is one of the core area in our commerce. Who are the major exporter of oil? See that these are the major exporter of the oil, and in that Saudi Arabia, UAE, Russia, these are the exporter of the oil. Now, if you heard the various news regarding the Sri Lanka declared the state of the emergency. They have suffered the problems of the economic crisis, and we are also focused on this particular crisis of the Sri Lanka, that you should focus. And Sri Lanka, they cancel their school exam because of the shortage of the printing paper. This crisis happened, and they don't have the printing paper for conducting the school exam. Now friends, these are the research areas in the commerce you should study. Impact of the COVID pandemic for farmers and farmer laborers, casual laborers, impact on healthcare industry, pharma industry, and the possibility of the paperless administration, work culture, work from home. Nowadays, work from home is one of the important area, and what will be the administration and management if you have the work from home. Many companies, even the, for example, Tata consultancy services, they are adopting the work from home, such system, such culture in our area. So what will happen if I do the work from home? What kinds of facilities, what kinds of administrative management planning for work from home? These are the things that we have to study. Then human resource management during the work from home, analytical study on GST. GST we have to study. We are suffering the migration labor problems, and we have to think about the corporate social responsibilities of the our companies after COVID. We have to study about the last 2 years, what kinds of companies are there and how they utilize their CSR fund to the society. Study of the business houses and their contribution during the pandemic. We have challenges regarding the e-commerce, retail, and profitability after COVID-19 and the digitalization of the records. These are the things that you should focus, and you should focus on our economy. So friends, you have the giant area of the commerce, and you have to focus for study purpose, for research purpose, for employment purpose, and even you should focus on investment purpose, even also business purpose also. So these are the things are there I presented here. Now I'm thank you here. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask.
Please, if anyone else has a question, please ask.
Else, do you have any question?
If anyone else has a question, you can ask. This session is open for questions and discussion. Feel free to ask your questions. Please. Okay. I think everyone's doubts have been resolved. So this session ends here. Thank you everyone. Thank you sir. Thank you very much. After this guidance, I request Mr. Tushar Galbute to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank sincerely the today's eminent guest, Dr. Pankaj Pandagre sir, for sharing valuable thoughts and views with reference to recent trends in field of commerce and management, and covering all the recent issues regarding inflation, investments, and job opportunities in commerce, sir. Once again, very thankful for such a session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. After this session, we will move on to the fifth and last valedictory session of the conference. Welcome to all of you. Thank you all for participating in this conference. This session is open for you to express your experience of this conference. You can express your thoughts. I
request all the participants who want to share their views regarding the organization of this conference. Okay.
कुणाला काही प्रश्न असतील तर तुम्ही विचारू शकता, किंवा आपला हे जे आजचं चर्चासत्र झालंय त्या चर्चासत्राबद्दलचा फीडबॅक तुम्ही देऊ शकता. जर कुणाला मनोगत व्यक्त करायचं असेल तर ते व्यक्त करू शकतात. प्लीज. Okay. Now I request Mr. Virendra Dhanashutti to propose vote of thanks. Please, Virendra Dhanashutti.
Thank you, ma'am. Feedback link is shared in chat box. I request all participants use the feedback link from morning 9 a.m. till now. We are engaged all in one-day workshop. It was very hectic schedule for all of us to be continually contribute and listen. But I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Dr. Ashok Thorat, who given a very elaborative talk on recent studies in literature. He suggested us to think interdisciplinary approach for studies. Later on, Honorable Dr. Praveen Saptarshi sir also contributed to our national workshop. He is very having vast experience, and then Dr. Umesh Bagade from Dr. Babas Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, given us directions regarding subaltern studies, and now respected Dr. Pankaj Pandagre sir contributed in commerce faculty various opportunities for study in the field of commerce. I take this moment to thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. R.K. Ahir sir, Vice Principal and NAC Coordinator, Dr. D.R. Tubel sir, and all the faculty members who contributed with their efforts to make this event successful. Thank you, one and all, once again. Thank you. This session will end here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,